Today, on Be Something Wonderful, become invincible, questioning anything unlike love. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. It's been probably less than 24 hours since I had a session with this one particular client. I've already heard from him. He just reached out. And when I talked with him less than 24 hours ago, we were talking, he was questioning everything. He was questioning the processes he's doing. He's questioning how to fix things. He was questioning how to solve his problems, right? Whether he's doing things right, whether this is the answer or that's the answer. All of those were coming up. And one of his big problems that he was seeing was rent. He was a little behind in rent. He was getting a lot of pressure, but there were other things as well. And so I just told him, I go, instead of questioning the solution, instead of questioning whether this fixes that, or instead of questioning yourself and your processes and how you're doing things, because that's like questioning God. Instead of doing that, question anything that's unlike love. Instead, question the problem, question the reality of the problem, as opposed to the reality of the solution. Or the reality of love. Because remember, love in God is the solution. There are no problems. So instead of questioning whether this solution will work or that solution will work or this will fix that or whether these processes are right, instead of questioning yourself over and over again, question the problem, the reality of the actual problem. In other words, just be the love of who you are. Drop all that other stuff, right? Be that solution. Stand in the solution. Stand in the love. This is what I want to talk about today, because in less than 24 hours, he got back to me saying that, well, now they apparently have to do some construction on some rooms next to his. So they got to move him. And they feel bad about it. So he gets rent for a month free. Hear this. This happened in less than 24 hours. He is like, I get it now, right? It's not the problems. Instead of question the reality of the problem, and then it's not a problem anymore. There is no reality to problems. There's only solutions. That's all that God knows. God only knows love, and love's the solution for everything. Love dissolves everything. And that's what I wanted him to stand in. Stand in that love. Stop questioning himself, the processes, and all of the things that he believes are going to solve the problem. Instead, question the reality of the problem itself, because then the problem cannot continue to be real. It must dissolve when you call it out. Right? Again, it's not about resisting anything. It's about being the love who you are. So we'll see what happens when I talk with him next. But this is what I want to talk about today. You are love in an eternal state of becoming. You're pure positive energy. So when you start questioning solutions and questioning whether you're doing it right, you're questioning that pure positive energy. You're questioning that love. Instead, question the reality. This is reality. So you're questioning the reality of something that is eternal, something that is always there, ultimate reality. Instead, question the reality of the things that are not real, the problems, because they're the things that are not reality, right? You're an infinite aspect of God, always becoming, in other words, always expressing the next best version of yourself, right? And so instead of trying, controlling, and forcing, which is what this person was doing, wrestling the problems, trying things, questioning whether he can control it this way or that way, trying to force things. We talked about this. It's about intending. It's about allowing. It's about receiving. When you intend something, you're just, and what I told him is, don't make intending into an effort. Just intend to be the love of who you are. Stand in that love and know that you are the solution. Love is the solution. God's the solution. There's nothing else but that. It's not about believing. It's not about desiring. It's about choosing to be that love, choosing to be that solution, right? And then you allow and receive that love to work through you and the solution's there, just like with this apartment, right? And so when you're trying to force things and control things, you're viewing the outcomes as separate or outside of you. Here, when you intend, when you allow and receive, you are the outcome, you are the process. For 48 hours, I challenged him, right? For 48 hours to just be the love, to drop all that resistance on questioning the solutions and questioning the processes. Instead, question the reality of the problem, right? And then it can't stand that light. There is no reality to the problem, right? Question whether the reality of the problem doesn't exist. We're always questioning other things as opposed to whether that thing is even true. It wasn't true. So he was just standing in that love, right? It's about allowing your desires and love to unfold from the inner state of fulfillment, right? You're already fulfilled. And that's what he did for 48 hours, right? Now, we weren't even in 24 hours into this 48-hour experiment where he felt the love, right? He felt the solution that was already there, right? He felt the fulfillment unfolding within. You're not here to get your fulfillment from the 3D world. You're not here to solve problems, to get better, to work on your worthiness, to improve yourself. You're not here for any of that. You're not here to get your joy, love, and clarity or abundance from the 3D world. You're here to share, express, and experience the fulfillment and love that you already are. That's what you're here for. To remember it. To reunite with that God within you. To share it, to express it, to experience it. It's not about wanting more. It's not about desiring more. It's not about getting more. It's about being more. Right? It's not about needing to be more. It's not about needing to do more. It's just being more, being something more. Right? That's how I think I told this story, how Be Something Wonderful was created. Right? I was sitting there and I was in Cusco, Peru at the time, working there and working some English work study travel institutes, where I was a partner with another guy down there. And I was trying to figure out, I want to do something more. I need to do something more. I really need something more. And then I said, no, it's not really about needing something more or doing something more. It's about being something more. It's about being something wonderful. And that's how that was created. But that's the idea of already being that who you are, right? Expressing that. You're already all that is. You can only have the experience of being more of that or experience it or being less. Hear this. You are already all that is. You can only have the experience of being more of that, all that is, or the experience of being less than that. Do you hear that? You already are all that is. You're everything you could ever want. You're already total fulfillment. You're divinity. You can only have the experience of being more of that, all that is. In other words, experiencing parts of all that is, of who you already are, or being less of it. But none of it changes who you really are. Whether you're going through a time where you're focused on problems, on trying to solve them, right? Or whether you're standing in the well-being of who you are and experiencing more of that. It doesn't change who you are. You are that aspect of God no matter what, right? Whether you can feel it or see it or not. So let's hit this a little bit more. Remember, this is what A Course in Miracles says. God goes with me wherever I go. You're never apart from God. I love this. This is lesson 41, one of my favorites. God goes with me wherever I go. God goes with you wherever you go, even when you go down the rabbit hole of problems, right? So you can never be deprived of anything because Source goes with you wherever you go. That Source, that divine Source. You could never have a problem if you really believe this. How could you have a problem if you know that you can never be deprived of anything, that God goes with you, that Source, that infinite Source, that inexhaustible Source of God goes with you? Love dissolves everything unlike itself. This is what Joseph Murphy says. Love dissolves everything unlike itself. So as this client was seeing those problems, the rent problems, problems with his fiance, problems with some other things in his life at work, all of these seem like big problems that he has to solve, that he has to wrestle to the ground, that he has to control, that he has to try to manifest solutions to. Right? Hear this. But if you just stand in the love of who you are, right? If you know that wherever you go, God goes, wherever that you're never deprived, that you're always one with that love, then that love solves everything because it has to. Nothing, when you shine love on it, when you shine that light of love, it can't stand, problems cannot exist. They must dissolve in that light. Love is the big dissolvent, right? Instead of questioning and hitting, this is really what I was pointing at a few minutes ago. Instead of questioning the solution or what works or doesn't work or what heals or doesn't heal, I had a few questions on those things. What fixes something or doesn't fix the problem, because that means you're acknowledging the problem as reality. Instead of questioning the reality of the problem, you are making the problem a firm reality. When you're wondering if you're doing it right, when you're wondering if it works or doesn't work, or what heals or doesn't heal in terms of illnesses, right? Or what fixes it doesn't fix it. You're acknowledging the illness. You're acknowledging the problem, right? Instead, question the reality of the problem. Question the reality of the illness. It doesn't exist. When you do that, it dissolves anything unlike love. When love questions it, in other words, when love shines a light on it, it must dissolve. Anything unlike love. And problems and illnesses and all of those difficulties are unlike love. They can't exist. So fear, doubt, loneliness, depression, anxiety, worry, suffering, frustration, or even just simple chronic dissatisfaction with your reality. All of that is believing in separation from love, in separation from God. All of that is believing in things unlike love, and that's impossible for them to exist. So you're creating all of that. None of that exists in that ultimate reality of love. Why? Because it's unlike love, and love has no opposite. It's just love. Wow. And this is what A Course in Miracles says. We've invented many cures for what they believe to be the ills of the world. We've created many cures for what we believe to be the ills of the world. Yet, Course in Miracles, its effects cannot be cured because the problem is not real. Wow. You can't solve it because you can't cure anything because it's not there in the first place. That's why it always feels like you're always struggling with the problems and that they get bigger. And when you believe you've solved one, another one pops up. What you resist persists. What you resist persists. But when you question it, it disappears. This is, I think Neil Donald Walsh taught this in Conversation with God, but a lot of spiritual teachers talk about this. But I think specifically Neil Donald Walsh said, what you resist persists, but when you question it, it dissolves. So when you resist a problem, when you're struggling to solve it, you're believing it, you're making it real, right? But when you question it, it dissolves. When you question the reality of it, it can't stand in that light, right? It's your resistance that creates the reality of the problem. Wow, that's big. So this is what A Course in Miracles says, leave appearances and approach reality. That's the idea. You're going to leave appearances where they are, and you're going to approach reality. In other words, you're going to approach that love of who you are. You find God the moment you realize you don't have to seek God. This is Eckhart Tolle. The moment you realize that it's within you, that there's nothing to seek, you find worthiness the moment you stop trying to be worthy, right? You just stand in that inherent worthiness that you are, right? That you accept your worthiness as a fundamental truth of who you are, as an aspect of God. You find love the moment you stop struggling to be loved and accept yourself as a fundamental truth that you are love. Right? You release guilt the moment you stop judging yourself and others. And instead, you stand in the fundamental truth that you were never guilty, that you're a perfect divine being. You find peace, clarity, security, confidence, self-esteem, all of that. The moment you stop trying to have those things. Do you hear? Do you see it? A couple halves there. The moment you stop seeking all that stuff and stand in that knowing, that's the moment you have it. That's what keeps everything we want away from us. Wow, that's big. So, love is the means and the end. Right? Love is the means and the end. Love is incapable of asking for anything. A Course in Miracles. Love is incapable of asking for anything. It's just love. Our sense of inadequacy, weakness, and incompletion comes from the strong investment in the scarcity principle that governs the whole world of illusions. This is A Course in Miracles. Powerful statement. Any inadequacy, any weakness, any insecurity, any incompletion, any lack, any fear at all comes to this investment in the scarcity principle that governs the whole world of illusions. Wow, such a powerful statement. So here's what I want you to try. Like my client, and like I just advised someone a few minutes ago, another client, right? For 48 hours, this will change your life. Guaranteed, right? Give up wanting anything to be different than it is. Give up those problems. Give up questioning the reality, give up questioning whether you're doing things right, whether you're manifesting. Give up manifesting or intending to struggle with processes. Give up all of that, right? Question the reality of every unwanted condition or problem. Question the reality of the unwanted condition. Right? Question the reality of anything that's unlike love. Right? Because anything unlike love doesn't exist. So you can question that reality. I'm not saying resist it. I'm just saying question it, right? And then question the reality. And this includes anything, the feeling that something hasn't manifested. Question the reality of that perception. Right? Because it's an error in perception. Everything you want is already within you. It's already yours. Question the reality of anything unlike love. And then watch. That's how you become invincible. That's how you question anything and everything unlike love. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button. Like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. You can hit us up on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful, on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Karen, our website at tomkaren.com or BeSomethingWonderful.com, or you can visit, also, I almost forgot, don't forget we have a Facebook group called the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors. You can join that. It's an open group. That's at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. Creators, until next time, with great love, with great light, with infinite gratitude, this is Tom with Be Something Wonderful. See you soon.